These are little salmon fillets I bought at my grocery store. And these are actually the little scraps off of the big fillets. And I want to make some little smoked salmon treats. And these are perfect because they're very thin. You see how thin they are. And actually, most of them don't even have any skin on them, which makes it even better. Okay, so first what I did is I took my little grilling tray. You see it has holes in the bottom of the grilling tray. And I spread them all out there. I'm going to take a paper towel and just pat them all dry. You want to start out with some dry fish, okay? I already patted them down a little bit more, but I just want to show you. Take a few paper towels, and pat them dry. You could even let them sit in the fridge for an hour or two afterwards if you want, and they will air dry a little further. Okay, so anyway, that's all we're going to need to do for that. And I'm going to arrange these so they're just all on one level. Don't pile them on top of each other because we're going to smoke them. Okay. All right, so now we have them all arranged on our tray here. Now, my little marinade here is about 3/4 of honey, 1/4 of soy sauce, and about a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon of red chili peppers. Okay, so it's going to be a little spicy. If you don't want the spice, don't add the peppers. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're just going to baste all of these fish just a tiny coat to start out with. Just to get them sticky. All right. And throughout the cook, since these are very thin pieces of meat, we're only going to probably have to smoke them for maybe 2 hours. If you're using a big full fillet of salmon, you're going to have to go 3 or 4 hours on it. Under 200 degrees. Okay, you got to slowly cook them, not too hot in the grill. Okay, that's a good coating on those. Okay, now that we've got these all coated with our honey and soy sauce marinade, next I'm going to go in here with some homemade seasoning. This is an all-purpose seasoning I make for general purposes, which is salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. But in this particular one, I added about 50% brown sugar, which is a good deal to use for fish or pork, especially when you're smoking some salmon like this. So we're just going to sprinkle all over the salmon here our brown sugar and spices, because you have to have that little bit of sweet but a little bit of tang when you do this smoking job here. Okay, so just a little bit on here for now to get started. So we're going to put this in the smoker, and every 30 minutes we're going to go back in here with our basting sauce here and put a little bit more so they don't dry out, and we'll just see what we get when we're all done. Okay, before we put the salmon on the grill, I'm going to make sure this little fire that's left over from our chicken barbecue smolders down. This is a big chunk of almond wood in here, and I want that to cook down and stop smoking so much. We don't want dirty smoke, okay? And we still have a lot of briquettes in there that are going to be our heat source. All right, doesn't need to be that hot to cook the fish. Okay, on top here is our smoke sauce. And inside a little smoke tube, I have what's called sweet smoke pellets, which is a cherry wood and apple wood mixture inside that little smoke tube. So I'm going to go ahead and light this thing up. And you see you have it laid on the side because the airflow through the smoker goes that way and up out through the chimney. Okay, so what we're going to do is just go ahead and light up the end of this thing a little bit here. And once it gets lit, let that burn for just a minute. And once it gets lit, we're going to blow it out, and then the draft from the smoker air will go up through here and keep it burning all the way across. That's supposed to last 4 hours for that tube I don't know if we're really going to cook it that long, but I just filled it up anyway. Pellets are cheap. Okay, so we're going to let that coals go down, and then we're going to put the fish on top right over here, away from the smoker pellets. So the smoker pellets goes over here, over the fish, and up and out the chimney. That's the game plan. Okay, gang, I have the salmon out here on the grill. Our little smoker pellets here are smoldering like they're supposed to do. See that smoke coming out? That's perfect. It's lit inside there, and they'll burn really slowly. My piece of wood is completely engulfed in flame, and it's almost gone. And I shut the little side vent in there to choke off the air. We're going to close this up. We're going to close this up. Okay. So at the beginning here, we want to keep an eye on that thermometer. I really want to keep it under 200 degrees most of the time. Between 175 and 200 is ideal. So that's our target temperature for about an hour and a half or 2 hours max. I'll tell you what, we're right there on the temperature, perfect. If you want to lower the temperature on your fire, choke off the air to the fire. Okay? Especially if you're just using charcoal. Charcoal will burn with almost no air. So we're looking good here. Okay guys, it's been about 40 minutes and we have a very light smoke coming out, which is perfect. Temperature 180-ish, perfect. Oh, look at that fish. It's starting to look like something good here. And you see our little smoke tube of pellets is burning nicely. It's only burned about 1/4 of the way. So like I said, that'll last about 4 hours if needed. So we're going to go here with our honey and soy sauce. And I'm not going to overdo it though. I'm just going to put a little touch on here. And I also don't want to wipe off that seasoning I put on earlier. But we're just going to keep it a little moist. And then for sure the last 40 minutes or an hour, we will put nothing on it. Okay? But that's good. We're going to close her up. Go another hour here. Looking good. All right, guys. It's been an hour and a half, and we're still holding at 200. I had to toss a couple more briquettes on top of the fire just to keep it steady there, which was expected. Look at that fish. Look at that. It's getting nice golden toasty with all that honey and brown sugar on there. We're going to take this off in about 20-30 more minutes and we're going to have a feast. Hey, 2 hours later, we're still holding right at about 200 there, guys. This worked out really good. Okay, so let's take a look at our fish. Oh, look at that. It is definitely done. It's just starting to get a little bit toasty colored on the outside edges and definitely done. Okay. And look over here, our smoker pellets burned about a little more than half of the way there, which is about 2 hours worth. We have some nice cherry wood, smoky flavor all on our fish with the brown sugar and honey. So let's bring it in the house and try it. Okay, so now we're in the house. We're going to serve up a plate here, and for some side dish for our fish, I made some Brussels sprouts steamed with garlic and olive oil. And I made some white rice with a little bit of salt and some margarine when I cooked it. So we're going to go ahead and put some of this on our plate here. Dig in here pretty quick. So we have our rice, our Brussels sprouts. Okay, let's bring out the fish. We have our fish in here in the kitchen. Look at that, how nice it looks. All that sticky honey on top and the brown sugar. I think I'm going to take, I'll take a couple of these little skinny pieces here. And I think I'm going to take one of these little slabs here, start out with. Okay, let's take a little bite. Forgive me with my freehand camera deal here. I figured it'd be easy if I just did it by hand instead of on the tripod. Take a little taste of that. You can see inside it's nice and flaky and fully cooked. Good. Brussels sprouts. I love Brussels sprouts. You can have any kind of veggies with these, of course. But the salmon. Salmon. Like I said, these are just little scraps of salmon, but if you do a whole fillet, I'm sure it tastes the same or better as this, but take a look at that. Nice. All right, everyone. Try to smoke some salmon. You could do this on a little Weber grill. If you do charcoal on one side and the fish on the other side, or a big smoker like what I have, either way it works. Or you could even cook this in the oven at 200 degrees. If you just use a little baking tray or a little rack so the excess liquid drips off them while you're smoking them. Okay? All right. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy your salmon. Yummy.